I hate Druid. I think Druid is probably my least favorite Hearthstone class, and can you blame me? Mana cheating is stupid. I mean, look at it. It's turn 4, boom boom, 9/9 worth of stats with taunt and draw 2 cards. What is this? Oh, this is a deck, isn't it? Now what I could do is show you a few games from my stream where I win and then say, oh my gosh, this deck is so good it breaks the meta, job done, but that's boring. Plus you wouldn't be able to find out what the secret of this deck is. Instead, you're going to experience firsthand why you should try this deck out, and I don't know, maybe get enlightened while you're at it, I don't know. I think an appropriate place to start would be the very first game I played with this deck on stream. Now, I just want you to know that the first few turns of this deck you don't really play much, so there's gonna be a big skip. It's a mid-rangey Nazoth Druid deck, so we gotta see if that works. It worked. I don't tell you why it worked. With the combination of Nature Studies and Overgrowth. 2 of them actually. Now you may be asking yourself, how much mana do you have? Your fat ass is blocking the mana counter. And first of all, I'm not fat, I have a dummy thick dung chunk honker, alright? But second of all, I'm 8 mana on turn 4. This is why I hate Druid. Speaking of turn 4, I've got some wisdom to share with you on that turn. Umbra Owl costs 7 mana, so it will never get pulled from Guardian Animals. So this costs 7, it's just discounted by spells. So even if it is discounted by spells, it doesn't get pulled from Guardian Animals. So interactions, basically. Yes, it is true, Umbra Owl will never get pulled from Guardian Animals, so that's a cool interaction. It's also one of the cards I was thinking of removing because of its limited uses. What are those limited uses though? I have to wait so long. It's good for the swing turns, I guess. Oh, thanks. But as low statted Umbra Owl is, you can use your Fizzy Elemental to compensate. Now I'm ready to deal 15 damage with my minions alone with this clear board. Look at that. You know, I'm feeling kind of bad for this warrior though. There's a lot of damage and I don't know if he can handle it, so I don't think I'm gonna play any more minions. Yeah, right. What's the real reason? And I think we'll actually just stop here because I don't want to get brawled or anything. Is this deck good against aggro? No, it's gonna get clapped by aggro. if there's a deck that was not good against aggro, it would be this one. Yeah, there's nothing to really play in this deck list. I mean, just look at these first few turns. There are cards that I considered putting in, but I didn't, either because I was too poor or just didn't want to. Maybe I could put in some tech cards. Kind of like this tech card Mutinous, which everyone's running nowadays, so it has to be good, right? Right? Wait, there's no way. What do other people's Mutinous looks like for them, huh? Okay, not that bad. Oh. But after looking at that sad lump of luck, I think it's time we experience the first win of this deck. Winter capture. Look at that, there's a win! Though I like winning and that makes me all happy and all that, I think I get more enjoyment just talking to new people and meeting them on stream. So if you like these videos or just want to hang out on stream and have a good chat, why not subscribe so we can meet up and talk to each other? Also, here's a quick side note, I forgot about the chat box widget on the screen, so it's gonna look like I'm talking to myself until I realize, wait, I talk to myself all the time. I'm technically doing that right now. Am I always talking to myself? What's right? Am I the crazy? But when I'm not going crazy and talking with all y'all, I do get distracted, and sometimes that makes me lose the game. Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, that's why we keep Umbrella. No friends. Yeah, no friends. That's why I'm here with us, everyone here right now. You're my new friends. We're friends now, that's what it is. Wait, what? Wait, what? What? No! I wasn't even looking! And that's just to say, priests are stupid, and this deck needs some more testing to make sure it's good and is usable. Maybe the reason this deck isn't doing so well has to do with the secret sauce about this deck. That secret is something I know if you found out, I'll definitely get the condescending glares from everyone from. But look at that, all that talking and we're halfway through the next game. So let's see what's happening. Here, I want to go really big on the board because the Warlock shouldn't be able to deal with the big wide board before turn 8 when Twisting Nether can be played. Sure, they can play School Spirits. That's all I have to say. I totally could have lost it if they just played School Spirits. 6 mana wasted on a 1-drop. Oh yeah, sorry, I had to think about that one. Yeah, again, a big problem with this deck is that there's no early game. You can help this out by playing cards like South Sea Scoundrel and Circus Amalgam, but I'm poor, so it looks like no Scoundrel for me. Yeah, and I'm repeating this because, you know, like every other Hearthstone player, I'm poor, but if you want to play this deck, I want you to know what's good and what's bad about the deck too. So if you want to play the deck, check out that deck list in the description. Even with no early cards, I did get the Control Warlock pretty low, but still, with the resources in this deck, it's easy to push back with the pressure. And then I get Cascading Disastered, but then I fill the board again, and then I get Twisting Nethered. And then I fill the board less again, and I swear this time if it gets taken out again, oh! Okay, I have one more chance to win. I need to hit Yashiraj with the Mutinous or I'm definitely going to lose. Okay, Mutinous, do your job. But I don't even have a deck anymore. Okay, I have one more chance to win this. Let's see if... But on the bright side, I finally figured out something really important. Wait a second, I just realized I don't have a chat box on this one. The next game was against an aggro shaman, and if you're salty that Shaman Stone is back, then go cry in your corner with your nerf first day of school, okay? I had a great plan to start. Let's hear Stream Chap I'll tell you. What's the plan? I think we can just play Guidance and then play 1-2 next turn. Yes, we have the plan. It's foolproof. It's potentially draw 4 cards on turn 2. But if you remember what I said a few games ago, then you probably figured out how it went against an aggro deck. All I'm saying is I was about to win Thrall, just give me another turn and I'd shove one of those stupid totems up your deep in there. With all this losing, I needed a win. I needed something to pick me up. I needed a class that was so irrelevant that I could waltz in there, destroy them, and not even give a second thought. And that's when I faced a rogue. The first few turns showed how good Druid can be in the mid game, if there isn't any early aggression. A nature studies with a lunar eclipse and a wild growth combo. Then I had the hero power on turn 4, but you know, sacrifices, okay? But then I played guardian animals on an empty board, so who's laughing now? Also, the rogue has a pretty good weapon, but let's just ignore that. The rogue had no problem dealing with the Moonfang, which is one of the better cards, and was quickly dealing damage to the face. If I wanted to win, I need to get some taunt and start filling my board. Luckily for me, we've got a 3-mana dragon and a beast who's trying to figure out what mana it wants to be, so we got that. From there, I just kept filling the board and watching this rogue cowered behind her stealth, just delaying the inevitable. And now that the stealth weared off, I could finally deal. You've gotta be kidding me. But that doesn't matter because I kept filling the board, and though this rogue tried, she couldn't deal with the pressure. So I got the second win of the day. Also, the chat and I got really distracted during the game and I just talked about Clash Royale, so I guess that tells you don't need to pay attention while playing Hearthstone to win. But that brought us down to the final game. The game that could give us a winning or losing record. The game that could decide if this video could have a super clickbait title. The game to decide it all. I started off with an aggressive play. I lightning blued the dormant minion, giving me no board presence and sacrificing my turn 2. But I knew if this was Death Rattle Demon Hunter, I'd need something to contest with the board. And I also knew this deck doesn't have anything to play early, so I took the risk. When the dormant minion popped, it hit my teacher's pet, and I've got a huge swing on the board. I was also able to lightning bloom my top deck Overgrowth. It was all a matter of what cards I drew from my deck now. I drew another Imprisoned Satyr, which could be useless for 2 turns. I needed card draw or anything I could use my mana on. Another draw, though Claw Machine does draw me a minion and it helps me swing the board, it's not enough to put the game comfortably in my hands. But then it happened. Maybe the Hearthstone gods showed me favor that day, but I drew a Nature Studies and somehow got a Nourish from that. From there, the Demon Hunter drew a bunch of cards himself, but didn't play anything on the board. I comfortably had the board control and the lead. Now all I had to do is not mess up. I could play a bunch of high cost minions and this Demon Hunter had nothing to show for it. The Illidan tried and tried with his best cards, the Illidari Inquisitor, but it was too late. A top decked Lunar Eclipse and 2 high attack minions were too much for the Demon Hunter to handle. And after a last ditch effort to play his cards, the Demon Hunter conceded. But there's a secret to this deck, and since you've made it this far, you deserve to know. The deck is almost the same deck as a default deck. Yes, you heard it here. This deck is almost the same as the Dark Moon Menagerie deck from the default collection. It's funny because this video was originally supposed to be about the default decks, but then I realized I don't have enough dust to craft it, and this was the only one I can make, so haha, funny, no one cares! But if this deck has taught me something, is that a lot of what makes a deck good or bad isn't about what's in it, but about what it's going against. And yeah, of course, cards do matter, but the matchup matters just as much. But one thing is for sure. I still hate Druid! So, if you want to play other decks that aren't Druid, you should subscribe and check out this playlist right here. I've got a lot of fun Hearthstone decks and videos on my channel, and a lot more coming up, so I hope to see you there. Thanks for stopping by. See you next time.